Is the day that we're really going to be able to tie everything together and just have a really good analysis of everything that you gained throughout the last, 5 weeks that we've been having these calls and getting everything planned out for you and having all your habits and your fitness routine, everything just creating this lifestyle, which was the whole point. So let's go ahead and get started today. So today, expectations, we are going to talk about intention setting after the challenge. We're going to talk about how you can not only continue with your journey, but continue to see really good success. Because again, I always tell y'all, the beginning part of the lifestyle change is like building the habits, just getting the routine down, it's just showing up every single week. And then we get to that middle part where it becomes more of an execution, where you're just doing it every single week. You're trying new things, you're making new recipes, but ultimately you're sticking to your main routine until you get to the goal. And then you get to transition to what I call just like the maintenance or just the continual evolution where you just get to keep changing as you go, adding new habits in, changing your workout regimen. And that is the best part about this lifestyle is that you do never have to just stick and you don't plateau because it's a lifestyle. So you get to keep doing it and keep enjoying the process. So we're going to talk about intention setting and then we're also going to talk about new month goal setting. Today is February 1st, the Sunday. It's like the best time to just get very clear about what you want to see happen in the next month. I know myself, I have a very good routine and I'll share it with y'all that I do at the beginning of the month. You can do it tomorrow, you can do it after the call. But for me, I really like to look at every month separated and I like to really have a plan before I go into it. Nothing that's too, extraneous, nothing that's too taxing. But, the best part about creating goals is that we can be very intentional with them versus create goals and we have no idea how to attain them. I know that I used to have very large, ambitious goals about 5 years ago, and I'd write them all down, and then I had no idea how to execute it because I was eating too much at one time. So we're going to have intentional setting for the month, but that's going to be realistic and things that you can just start doing today. All right, so we're gonna start with the wins of the challenge. And I know that we kind of have like a webinar style just because I like to record these so that these videos are gonna be on my YouTube channel so you can always go back to them, if you want to go back to week 3 when we talked all about nutrition, you can say, hey, I'm gonna go back to that video, take some notes. But I just really want y'all to just ask yourself these questions and journal on these prompts of celebrating all of the wins, right? Because the whole goal of this wasn't just to lose weight if you were wanting to lose weight, because that's a huge part of it. If you came into this like, I want to lose weight, I want to get in shape, this was the structure to do so. But there's so many other wins that we want to include in that category that you can carry on to well after this next week. And so I want you to ask yourself a couple questions. What changed internally and externally for you from this challenge? Internally, maybe you committed to this, so you really taught yourself how to be disciplined. Maybe externally, you did see weight loss and your body is, you're losing inches in your waist. It's starting to feel a little looser on the arms, a little looser on the thighs. That's great examples of both. So I want you to just take a second, write this down or take a screenshot of where we're at. So you have these questions if you want to take your time. Because I know journaling for me, sometimes I like to take my time and really, really think about the question and really dig deep to see what did I gain from this experience. So I want you to think about it from an energetic standpoint, a confident standpoint, a consistency, building discipline. I mean, again, the wins were endless in this because you signed up for this to commit to changing your life and adding in a new regimen. And every single one of y'all have done that. You've been doing your workouts, following your meal plan, tracking everything, adopting a new habit in, learning how to habit stack, and then tie it all together into this beautiful umbrella, which we call wellness, which is basically aligning your mind, your body, your soul to take you to the next level, to achieve the goals you want to achieve, because all of them play a huge part in not only maintaining the success, but just enjoying the process. So, first question, what changed for you internally and externally as you've gone throughout the challenge? Question number 2, who did you become during this challenge? This is kind of a loaded question because it could go so many different ways, but I want you to ask yourself, who did you become? Maybe you became somebody who became disciplined. Maybe you became somebody who started feeling better in their body. Maybe you became someone who was happier because you made a goal you have a plan from me and you committed to the goal. So nothing is more reassuring than when you actually show up for the things you want to do. That's like the worst feeling ever is when you create a goal and then you don't show up for it and then you have that self-sabotaging thought of like, "Oh, why can't I get this together?" So ask yourself the question, who did you become during this challenge? And really challenge yourself to think about who you were before this and who you are right now. And it doesn't have to be these huge, changes. It can be as simple as I like who I see in the mirror a little bit better than I did, or I appreciate my body for what it is, or I appreciate myself for committing to this and now having the discipline to continue to do it, right? Because that was the whole purpose is that you do the challenge, you show up every week on these calls, you dedicate the time to really changing your life to attune to what we're trying to build together. And then you get to keep doing it. You get to keep executing it. You get to continue to push yourself harder. Because that's what I was saying too in the very beginning. We kind of started small. And now you're at a phase where if you've been working out and doing the three lifts with the one cardio and core day, do a fourth lift. Start doing 10K steps a day. Start doing 20 minutes on the Stairmaster or treadmill before your upper body day. You see what I mean? You've got the foundation, you've got the bones. Now you get to build on it. And that was the whole point. Because if I had y'all start this challenge and I was like, 5 workouts a week, you're going to be strict, you're going to change your entire life, you're going to have, it's going to be a complete contrast to what you've been doing. You'd burn out, you'd give up, you'd probably tank out. I know I have in the past when I've had that all or nothing approach. It's just not sustainable. So what we've done together in these 5 weeks going on our sixth week is create a sustainable plan. So second question, who did you become during the challenge? And then third question, what is one habit that you now do automatically that you did not before? This one's a good one because it makes you aware of what you've been doing, right? Again, we get into our little subconscious tracks and we're not conscious what we're doing sometimes. So ask yourself, what's one habit you do now automatically that you didn't do before? I know for some of y'all, reading was a huge goal. That's a huge goal of mine as well. So that could be your habit that you didn't automatically pick up your book at the end of the night when you're laying in bed. Like that's what we're talking about automatically, or going straight into your routine, your morning routine, night routine when you wake up and it's just automatic, or waking up and chugging water before you have any coffee. So ask yourself the question, what is one habit that you do now automatically that you didn't before? And when you write that one down, see if any other ones come to mind, because that's the whole point, is that we're building habits that become automatic. Like they're just, boop, you just do it because then you don't have to think about it. It leaves more room for you to think about your life and the things going on. We're creating these habits so that we make it easy. We're just close on a Sunday night. I know for me, meal prepping, it's like automatic. I did chicken, I did sweet potatoes, I bought some green beans. I'm going out of town in a few days. So it was like store, get your stuff, marinate, cook the stuff, and dinner's ready. So I'm gonna have dinner after this. So it's automatic. Getting my steps in, it's automatic. I have like my brain like walks to get my shoes, gets my jacket, and then it's going straight to the door. So think about these questions after our call, but these are just some really good ways to celebrate your wins and just recognize how far you've come outside of just the weight loss portion or muscle gain of this challenge. All right, so let's talk about identity shift because we had a really good call a couple weeks ago where we talked about how to really start identifying as somebody who is living this lifestyle, not just trying to go to the gym, not just trying to show up for your workouts, not just trying to, make 1,000 things happen. We've made an identity shift from somebody who tries to somebody who just does it. That's the whole point of commitment, is not being somebody who tries every day. We want to be someone who's doing it every day. That's how you show up. So you're no longer starting anymore. Now you're maintaining. Now you get to continue to do this well after this week. You don't go on these healthy routines. These are your lifestyles now. That's like the best part, is it's not about jumping on another fad diet or saying, "Oh, we got something coming up in 8 weeks. Like let's quickly create a healthy routine." It's like, no, this is just your life. That's the fun part, is that it's just a part of your day to day. So you get to continue to see that success for any mile markers you have this year. We have spring break coming up in a couple, crazily enough, in like 6, 7 weeks. We have summer coming up in a few months, which I'm gonna have another fun kind of promotional challenge for get ready for summer. I'm gonna have that kind of come out in the beginning of March. So if you're interested, that's something I'm gonna be hosting to really drill in the weight loss portion to get to your dream body. But again, guys, this is your lifestyle now. So you are somebody who goes to the gym. You're somebody who moves your body. You're somebody who is trying to take care of their mental and physical health the way you've always wanted to. A lot of times I truly believe that if you have a goal in your mind, or if there's something you've wanted to do, it's because you know you can do it. You just need the tools. And that's what this challenge was here to provide you. And looking at discipline as a form of self-respect, not punishment, right? A lot of the challenge was also changing our verbiage towards how we look at food and how we look at this journey and not thinking we're going to hate this. Like it's a chore. It's all those negative things we think about when we're working out or we're changing our life, right? Now we can look at it from a different point of view and say, no, like this is a form of self-love. When I meal prep, like I'm taking care of my body. Like the one thing we have control over is how we take care of our body, our mind, and our soul. And all we're doing here is feeding it with good stuff. It's all good things. So looking at discipline as a self-respect and to be really proud of that and hold that dear to yourself because again, I'm somebody who's been in the wellness space for we're almost going on a decade to when I started going to the gym and getting serious about my nutrition and putting all the puzzle pieces together to create this really good lifestyle. And it's hard. People don't want to do it. Like we are I always say like we're in the lower percentile because it's nobody wants to do hard things. That's why my goal with this challenge was for you to look at this and say this can be easy. We just have to flip our mind towards it. We got to make it easy. We got to make it fun. And then it's not a punishment anymore. It's not like when you're a kid and you got to eat your vegetables and if you don't eat them, you're not going to get to have a dessert. Like we want to be able to enjoy our life and that's why I tell y'all too, balance is really important in my life. And I'll give y'all the perfect example. I have been going to the gym, getting my steps in, meal prepping like 95% of my meals. And the last 2 nights I went out. I went and got drinks on Friday night. And then last night I had also got drinks and tacos and queso and all of the good stuff. And I remember waking up this morning and I felt no different. I was like, I get to do that. I get to enjoy my life. I'm not punishing myself. I'm not making myself I didn't even work out today because it was my off day. I was like, so it's just reframing your mind. And again, identity shift is huge. So just continuing to keep the methodology of this is an identity shift, not just a quick fix scenario. Because then you're not going to go back to who you were before the challenge. That's the goal. We're not going back to the old you. We've already created a new version of you. Now we get to just maintain that version. So let's just talk about some things to carry forward, things that are going to help you just to keep on these habits every single week. Because again, after today, we're not going to be meeting every Sunday, so I'm not going to be on here to remind y'all we have your workouts, we got this going on. Here's some new reframes. So I want y'all to be able to do what I do. Like I tell y'all, I actually made my goals list. It's always blurred out. I wish you could see, but you get the method. These are my non-negotiables. This is how I keep accountable. Me, somebody who does it. I like lists. I like physically looking at my goals because then it's like I feel better when I check it off, which is why I had y'all do habits and EverFit. It's like you get to do it every day. Like that's the gratifying part. So thinking about 3 to 5 anchors is what I call them, but 3 to 5 habits in the different areas that we've been working on, your fitness, your nutrition, and your mindset wellness. So fitness, of course, just continuing to maintain the workouts you've been doing. If you find that the workouts I had set for you, they're like, these are perfect. I've been seeing progress the way I want to see it. I'm going to do that. And then you can grow on it. Like I said, you can add another day and you can add more cardio in if you need to. You can add more abs in. Like it's just about growing. And then daily walks, making sure that you're moving your body every day. Setting new goals for your walking goals. Maybe right now your goal was just to get to 5K and you nailed that. Now it's 7,500. Okay, perfect. You nail that in a few weeks, then it's 10,000. So that's how you can kind of continue to approach it or starting to go to group fitness classes. I know me, I have a goal now of going to a new class every week, whether it be yoga, whether it be kickboxing, whether it be Pilates, whether it be anything. I just want to be able to expand myself in that way. So that's your fitness. And the nutrition is continuing to have the method of meal prepping down, prepping foods you enjoy every week, making sure you're tracking your meals every week. So you're being very accountable to, again, you have the data. So this is the best part about this is that if you've been tracking your meals since we started and you saw 3 pounds weight loss congruently throughout the weeks, you can look at that food journal, you can look at the tracking and say, I had this many proteins, this many carbs, this many fats that week, and I lost weight. So that's how you repeat it. You build your meals around the macros that allowed you to lose the weight. That's what my one-on-one coaching, that's the whole methodology. It's science-based. It's we track everything so that we know what success is going to look like for you, and then we execute it, and then we add new recipes in. So just maintaining your nutrition habits, meal prepping, high protein meals, tracking, balanced meals, making sure you're having, again, fruits, vegetables, healthy fats, starchy, non-starchy carbs, all of those great things. And like I said, go back to call number 3 because that was the one we did the deep dive on nutrition. I think that one is a very valuable piece because we all know nutrition is, I will say, it's the hardest part about this. Like following a workout plan, execution, we can do that. But nutrition, it's a beast. And so the fact that you've been able to even meal prep and track and just try to really invest in that is a huge win in itself. And then your wellness anchors, right? Because this is important because if you're not being aware and checking in with yourself, then it's really hard to kind of gauge progress. You're only going to look at the progress on the scale. And sometimes there's some weeks where you're on your cycle or you're going through different phases of life and you're not on that, you're seeing a bigger drop in 2 weeks. I remember I had a client where she would see weight loss like every 3 to 4 weeks and it would be like a drop. But for a couple weeks, it would just kind of like stagnate and then bam, it hit. So your body is different than any other body. Every body is uniquely and perfectly different for a reason. So we have to just, oh my gosh, I don't know if y'all just saw that, but Miko just tried to jump on bed. Can you get down? My bed. Get down. This is how y'all know it's live. But wellness, right? Journaling, having your morning routines, doing affirmations, reading your books every day, and asking yourself the questions every week, where am I at and where do I want to be? And am I on track? Am I being aware? Am I monitoring these thoughts to be consistent with the goals I have? That's how you're going to achieve them. So these are just some examples, but again, we've created your lifestyle. So at this point, it's just making sure you're doing the same things you've been doing as well as tweaking them as you excel throughout your progress. All right, so I kind of want to transition because this is a good time to start talking about goal setting, and it's going to help you to how you're going to goal set moving forward in the things that we've done together. So I always ask myself at the beginning of the month, I ask myself how I want to feel because I think again we look to find these like large scale goals to check off, like, oh, I did this, but sometimes it's important just to like be aware of how do you want to feel. If you just went through a really tough season or a really heavy work, season and you're burnt out and you're exhausted, maybe you just want to feel like calm. Maybe you just want to feel nourished. Maybe you want to feel confident. Maybe you want to feel grounded in who you are and what you're doing and stop letting life pass you by and really grab life by the reins and be present with life and say, what are we doing? How do I want to feel? Do I want to feel happy? It's very basic things, but I swear we need to stop overlooking the simplicity of what life is about because it would make us all feel a lot better. So, good question is just saying, how do you want to feel? And again, it's all about intention setting. Now, this is the main focus when you are goal setting, and I want you to use these methodologies as well when you're creating your lifestyle after we're done or adding on to what you've already been doing. Focusing on, or the question, if you focus on one thing this month, everything would improve. So for me, like I always think, like, what's one thing that I could do that would benefit every area of my life? A big one for me right now is reading. Reading, I've been reading a lot of personal development books just to expand my mind and really kind of work through some of my own thoughts that, I come on here and I tell y'all and I say I'm a human too. Like I'm learning with y'all. And so I want to be able to tell y'all these are the things that I'm doing and it's benefited every area of my life. So the books I've been reading have been very mindset focused and it's changed everything. It's changed how I show up for the gym. It's changed how I show up for my relationships, how I show up for my job because I'm reading these books. I am absorbing other ideologies and perspectives and I'm self-analyzing, and that one habit, that one goal to read every day, 10, 15 pages, whatever it may be, minimal, it's improved everything. So ask yourself the question, what's one thing that you can make the main focus that would seriously improve everything else in your life? An example is a morning routine. Nothing is more powerful than starting your day with a bit of attention and a routine. Because, quite frankly, the mornings, I've learned this over years of having a non existent morning routine. It really does set up your day for success. And if you're able to at least spend 10, 15 minutes on some dedicated time to yourself doing things that feel good, it changes the trajectory of your day and that carries over throughout time. Being consistent with your meal plan, that would improve everything because it would help you in the gym to help you continue to lose weight or get the goals you're wanting to get to. It would help your mind because you know that you're not 100% great on it and you want to be great at it. So it's going to help your confidence in yourself and it's going to help your body by feeling good. Like our gut is the second brain. It is 100% a factor in our emotions, how we handle stress, how we handle life. That's why a lot of times food is it's a top addiction for a reason. Like we all love the good food, like the I don't like saying bad food, but the processed food because it tastes good and it's good and it makes us feel good. So flip that to how healthy food makes us feel. Our bodies are like, yes, this is what we need. We want all these good foods. You're gonna feel better. So straight train's another good one. Nervous system regulation, I don't think we did a deep dive on that, but if you've never really, it's a more common terminology. I think right now, like wellness, I agree with the wellness trend sometimes because it brings awareness to like things that we should all be doing. But nervous system regulation, again, if you're living in fight or flight, like your body's not going to want to lose weight. You're not going to be in a good headspace to be able to do anything that's not stuck in that fight or flight mode. So it's very important that you are regulating your nervous system by doing things that calm you down. Like I don't just meditate because I want to be, just zen. I meditate because, in the things I'm balancing in my life, trying to run a full-time business, working a 9 to 5, raising a puppy, going through the waves and the ebbs and flows of life, moving to a new city, it is imperative that I am conscious with what I'm doing so that I'm able to maintain the life that I want to live that I've worked really hard for. So I regulate my nervous system by walking every day in nature. I'm sure everyone thinks I'm like a nut because I walk like 15,000 steps a day. It's really for Miko, but that's how I reset. That's how I really get I feel so good when I walk. I'm like, oh, it's just great. So these are just some examples, but I would definitely think about when you're thinking about your goals after this, what's one thing that you can do in February that would truly improve every goal and everything in your life. And here's some examples, but like I said, whatever comes to mind first, that's the one you should always go with. Trust your gut. And so here's just some prompts I made to kind of fuel you to kind of get some, again, very, not to overwhelm yourself and create this huge list of goals that you're like, that sounds overwhelming. I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it. So I'm just not even going to do it. We want to make it very easy. So I always break up nutrition, fitness, mindset in those categories to just one thing, just do one thing. So an example is when you're journaling, writing after this or right now in your fitness goal, you commit to how many workouts a week? How many workouts are you going to commit to? If you've been teetering between 3 and 4, I would encourage saying 3 so that when you hit your 3, your fourth isn't optional and you go do it versus hitting the fourth one or expecting fourth one and you don't do it and then you think you failed. So 3 to 4 workouts like you've been doing on this challenge. Your nutrition goal, you commit to fueling yourself by meal prepping is a good one. Finding new recipes, tracking my meals, being more conscious, eating protein before lunch or before breakfast, drinking 100 ounces of water. Like there's so many things you could do. Just pick one and it gives you a start. And then you feel good when you check that off every week. And then your wellness mindset goal. I used this terminology, I commit to protecting my energy by, but it can really be I commit to, being better every day by reading, by journaling, by affirmations, by praying, by walking. It can be any of them, but this is a good framework. This is what I do. Like I tell y'all, I have 3 big categories in my to-do list, and it's my business, my content, and my personal self. But for you, it could just be fitness, nutrition, mindset, and you just have one and you just kind of track it from there. So again, if you've not written these down yet, take a screenshot, or when I send the replay later, you can go back and you can look at these. But they're really good ones to just get a good start. And then I want to talk about how to carry the momentum forward, okay? Because again, we have been doing this for 5 weeks now, and this is why I did a weekly call because it keeps you accountable to show up. Except for last week, because I know we had the holiday and I was doing some traveling, so we pushed it to Tuesday, but for the last month, Sundays at 5 p.m. Central has been the time that you've come here to be with me and to talk about all things wellness and to give you the framework that I do for myself and that I've been doing for years and I do with my clients. And it's it's exactly how I've gotten to who I am today and why I continue to evolve. And wellness has been the centerfold of my life and it's positively changed my life in the best way possible. If you asked me 5 years ago I would be who I am today, I would have laughed because I've worked really hard to build a lifestyle that I truly enjoy. Like I truly love what I do every day. And so how to carry the momentum forward so that you get in a position, if you don't already feel that way, you want to feel that way, you remind yourself why you want to do this. And if your why is because you want to lose weight, that's a great one, but we want another one that's deeper than that, that incites emotion in you. Like for me, my why is that I want to make sure that I treat my body like a temple. I want to be able to say that I genuinely take care of my body and I get to enjoy life and my mind is clear and I have purpose, I'm aligned and I go after my high level goals and I achieve them because I use wellness as a framework of commitment. You know, that's my why. I love it. And my other why is that it just feels good. It nothing feels better than committing and doing hard things every day. Again, there was a point 2 years ago, and I'm actually going to post some videos. I found some old videos of me, and it's funny how you look back and you're like, you look and you're like, whoa, I look so different. Like I was about 20 pounds heavier, which again is not a lot. I don't want to make you feel like that's a lot for my body. That felt like a lot back then because I didn't realize I was, I didn't look bad at all. It's just compared to now, it is a little different. And I was eating out a lot. I just started working remote. I was eating out all the time. I was not working out. I had fallen off my plan and I just hit one of those ruts and it was just like boop. Like I said, my whole lifestyle changed. I moved cities. I started working remote, so I kind of had a really hard adjustment to being active every day. And so I had to find my why again because I lost sight of it. And that's okay. Like I'm here to humanize myself. Where I am in the phase of life I am at now, I don't want to go back to being who that was because I would be upset with myself almost every night. I'd be like, why can't I go to the gym? Why am I not feeling motivated? What do I need to do to shake things up? And it was like a revolving, really not good feeling. So my why is that I don't want to feel that way. I want to go to bed every night and say, I'm really proud of you. Like you're doing hard things and most people aren't going to do this. And I always tell myself I'm the hardest worker in the room, even if I'm not. That's just, I hype myself up. You have to be your own hype girl. You've got to be, I always tell my clients, imagine me every day. You've got to start being that for yourself. How enthusiastic and how excited I am and how much it lights me up to talk about this. I want y'all to start thinking about how can I be my own personal hype man when I hit a low because it's going to happen. You're going to hit a wall. You're going to hit a point where you're like, I'm tired. I don't want to do this. That's when you have to ask yourself the question, okay, what can we do to get ourselves back on track but not force change? So, remembering your why, always, 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 always remember why you started. Remind yourself how far you've come because, again, wins are very important in this journey and you need to be able to be proud of yourself for the smallest things ever. Like when you're grateful for just saying, I hit my workout today, like we talked about last week, it's a seed, a positive seed versus being like, oh, I only hit one workout this week. It's like you constantly put yourself down. No wonder you don't make any progress. No wonder you don't change. Like you constantly put yourself down. So remember how far you've come, no matter how long it's been, what capacity. Always recognize the journey because the journey is way more important than destination. I mean, that's just life. So some life tips there. And remind yourself how good it feels. This is the biggest one. Like remember this. Drill this in your brain right now. Remember how good it feels to keep promises to yourself. Like write it down, revisit it often. I showed you all my journals last week. I have them here. I have five. I'm about to finish I just started a new journal back in August and I'm about to be done with it. And it's crazy because I write down all the time how proud I am of myself for keeping promises to myself because again, there was an old version of me who didn't do that. And I just felt disappointed in myself a lot. And there's no reason to do that when it can be easy. We're trying to make it easy to feel good about this journey together. So remember how good it feels to keep promises to yourself. That's the feeling that you should be striving for every day because that's what's going to keep you when again motivation is just going to it's going to be gone. I mean, it's just going to happen. So if it makes you feel good, you could imagine yourself every Sunday at 5 p.m. Imagine we're about to join this call and ask yourself, what would Tara probably tell me to do? Well, she would say, check in with yourself, do an awareness check. How are you feeling? How did the week go? What's the goal for the next week? Two, tell yourself why you're proud of yourself. Recognize the wins. Lay every little win out that you can. I do that with one of my clients every month when we do, like, I have weekly check-ins, but we do like one really big like form, just like a check-in, so I can like see and hear her answers that are outside the call. She has time to answer them. And one of them is always get your journal and write down every little microscopic win that you can label. And like there was a time it was like 3 pages and I was like, good. Let's make it 4 next time. Even if you just wake up on time and not hit snooze, that's a win. Okay. So revisit the list. That's your motivation. That's how you're going to keep the momentum forward when I'm no longer here and you're thinking about how you're going to transition. Well, you're just going to keep doing it. You're just going to keep doing it. Okay. So this is a good one. This kind of goes back to what we had talked about last week, looking at how you're going to do this for your real life, you know? So motivation is going to come and go, but the structure is what keeps you here. So we talked about this last time. Schedule your workouts as appointments. Schedule your meal planning as an appointment. You have an appointment every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday to go to the gym at 6 to 7 a.m. That's your appointment. And if you miss it, you're in trouble. I don't know. You're gonna get a fee. I don't know. Whatever makes your mind feel better. You got appointments. Start looking at your life as this is an appointment. You know, prepping simple meals. Y'all, I showed y'all on my Instagram. I made chicken. I just marinated it in a couple different things. It took me 3 seconds to throw everything into a gallon baggie, shake it up, and put it in the fridge to marinate for a bit, and it's already cooked. So just make it easy. Prep easy things that sound good to you. Don't make it complicated. Don't and that's why my cookbook, I always say, like, I made those recipes to be simple for a purpose because I didn't want to spend a lot of time having a 20 step, those, oh my gosh, those recipes that have all the pop-ups and there's like 20 things, 1,000 spices. And I'm like, that's too much. I don't want to do it anymore. That's not fun. So make meal prep very simple but tasty so that you enjoy it. And then you set weekly check-ins, like I said. Every week you sit down. Sundays are my favorite days because Saturdays you're usually busy with things going on, family stuff, life stuff. Sundays are a more relaxed day. That's why I love them. So use Sunday as your check-in day. That's when we did our calls. That's why I did that. And discipline is just self-care in action. Again, going back to what is discipline? Well, it's a form of self-love. It's a form of self-respect. It's a form of self-care because you're doing things that your old self wouldn't do. So, yes, it is a form of positive love to yourself. And this is my final message. I know we have a little bit of time left, so I have some other things we'll talk about, but I just want you to remind yourself of like the most simple things in this journey. Every day is an opportunity to choose yourself again and again. If you have a day where things don't go right, cool. The sun's going to rise. You got a next day. So every day is a new opportunity to choose yourself again. So we have to just remember that this is a journey, not a race. And every day, just kind of refreshing the mind and just saying, hey, we have a new day. Let's show up and do the best we can. And that's going to make you continue to do it. Trust yourself. You've come this far. You've been doing everything. I've been watching y'all log your workouts. I've been watching y'all track your meals. I've been watching the weight loss. Like, trust yourself. You've been doing it. You followed through. You've executed. So trust that you know what you're doing and trust that you're going to be able to do this. Okay. You've already proven you can show up, stay consistent, and follow through. So now it's about continuing to choose that version of you, even when no one's watching. That's a big one. I think rightfully so, we all want validation from the people in our life when we do things that are outside, like to give us those kudos. And we're human. Of course, we want to be validated for the work we do, but you've got to start validating yourself and act as if no one's watching. Like there's so many things I told you, I'm like, I have so many silent things that people have no idea. Like I share a lot of my life online because I want to be honest and say, hey, I walk this, I do this, I do this. But there's so much stuff that I do that no one's watching. Like there's so many great habits that I have, like, like so many things. So just starting getting in the habit that more likely than not, people are not going to just go out of their way to validate you. And if they do, that's great. But we we don't want that expectation. Act as if no one's watching so that when you succeed, you get to where you want to be, you can say, yeah, I've been doing this for months. Yeah, I've been doing it. Yeah, it's great. And like you you have that confidence, right? It's not just like, oh, like you know. So I think that's really important because again, this is a solo journey. I have a lot of clients who their spouses aren't like in a health journey with them, and it's difficult. I will say, like me living alone, it's easy because I have my own schedule, but it's difficult when you have families and spouses and they're not a part of the journey with you. So just always remember this is a you versus you. This is your dedication to yourself. And if there's people in your life who are encouraging you, cling on to them. That's great. We want more people like that, but just be realistic and say, hey, like this is a me versus me thing to prove to myself that I can look the way I want to look, I can feel the way I want to look, and I'm doing it. Okay. So now we are at the end of it all. I did want to just share. I know a couple of you have worked with me in the past. I know some of y'all currently work with me and join this just to kind of have that additional call every week. But if you are looking to do one-on-one coaching, this year I'm really expanding to be more all around wellness, like we've been talking about, the whole scale of changing your life. So I am opening my doors for one-on-one coaching. If you are interested in that, again, please let me know. We're definitely going to be, like I said, focused on gearing towards summer. So I'm going to have a couple promotions coming up that will be great for you to get ready for summer. Really like what we did here, but like times five, which is like my favorite thing. Is just to keep adding more things in as I expand. Um, but regardless, like I said, be proud of where you are, be proud of everything that you've done, and ask yourself the questions like, what did I really get from this experience, and how can I keep going forward with it? Because it's the ball is now in your court to continue to do this and remind yourself why you did this to begin with. You did this to change your life, and in some capacity, you actually have. You're a different version of you, and we are entering February in a way different space. So there's so many wins to recognize, and I'm just really grateful we had this time together. I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna have a survey sent out just for some feedback and just some referrals, testimonials that I can utilize in the future that will help me to continue to do these. I would love to do these challenges, quarterly if the timing works out with everything, just because they are really good to have it. And next time I'm gonna have more community based, so we'll have more everyone kind of flowing together. But yeah, guys, I'm just really excited. I'm grateful it's February. Like I said, it's a new month. So even if last month didn't go 100% how you planned, wipe the board, clear it, like just clear it. Oh, and that reminds me, I was going to tell you all some of the things I do on my first of the month. So we already talked about goal setting. I like to clean my home and do like a deep clean for me, like environment. It's very important, whether you believe it or not. If you're like in a messy home, sometimes it can feel that mess, you can feel it. So for me, I always do a deep clean. If you can see, if you can tell, my bedding is all getting washed right now, vacuum, all those good things. I just make sure I have food prepped. I make sure I get my steps in if I go to the gym. If not, and then creating my goals. It's really that simple, but for me, intention is everything. And the more intentional you are with your life, the more you're going to actually execute. You're actually going to do it because you set an intention. You're not just throwing a wish out there and saying, "Well, I hope one day I commit to this journey." You're like, "No, I set the intention. I am committed. I am statements are important. Never say I will, I'm going to, I'm trying. I am. That's it. I am this, I am that. That is the way you set intentions. That is the way you train your mind to say you are already successful, whether it's happening in right now in the 3D or it's on its way. Okay. But again, I'm super happy just to have done this. We have this week, workouts are set and EverFit, your habits are set, and your meal plan is open for you to continue to track. And again, I'm going to kind of just review everybody, but I want to hear from y'all as well, weight loss wise, what did we do? And like I said, I'm gonna have a survey sent out so I can really see some of that. But if y'all were able to take any before photos, please take some after photos and really utilize them. And for some of those that lost weight, if that's something you're comfortable sharing, please, I would love that. But I would encourage that you do a really good analysis of where you're at, and also, don't put pressure on yourself because it was only 5 weeks. So there is still a lot of room to grow. You have another 5, 6 weeks to continue to lose that weight and keep going. But again, I just want y'all to be proud of yourselves. I want you to recognize everything. Rewatch this so you can go back to some of the questions we talked about earlier to do that a check-in. But before we drop off, does anyone have anything in the chat you want to share? Any questions? Anything that I can last minute help answer? I'm gonna have the replay sent out after the call, so you'll be able to have everything. But yeah, guys, I'm excited for a new month. February, I feel like it's gonna be a great month, and I'm just excited to continue to share things with y'all, and yeah, just excited for the next thing we're working on. And these are some of my tags. I just wanted to add them in there. That's my email, my website for one-on-one coaching. You can definitely just go straight to my name, TaraMcMillan.com. Of course, most of y'all have me on Instagram, but just want to plug that in there. And then my phone, because y'all are a part of my world now. So you're welcome to text me, call me, let me know. I know some of y'all have my number already or have messaged me on Everfit, so you're welcome to do so. And then just to give everyone kind of an idea for Everfit, we're gonna have it run until next Sunday. And after that, everybody who did the challenge is gonna be kind of archived. So I would just kind of start getting yourself in a good headspace to kind of continue what you've been doing. At this point, you're pretty much in a good spot to just kind of execute. But yeah, if there's no questions, I will give y'all a little bit of time back on this beautiful Sunday. I know we're about to go do one big final walk before I finish cleaning and get organized for the week, but yeah, guys, if y'all have any questions, you have my information, and let's just kill this last week. We got one more week. Let's just put it all out there this week. Turn it up all the way. Turn the notch up all the way because you got this one more week. And please utilize me. I'm here and I am here to support y'all. That's my laundry. And here to get y'all to where you want to be. And like I said, just be expecting an email probably next Sunday with some of that questionnaire stuff. And if you have any questions, just let me know. But I hope y'all have a great rest of your Sunday, and I will talk to y'all hopefully in the future. Bye, everyone.